Hey guys, Alex here. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I will be sharing with you my entire listing process. So if you're someone who's planning to sell a property, then watch this video first. So there are 5 steps that I follow when listing a property. First, set a meeting with the property owner or their representative/attorney in fact. So the first step is crucial because the listing agreement is an agreement between the broker and the owner. It doesn't have to be a personal meeting because a lot of the sellers that I work with are based abroad. So for sellers who cannot meet me in person, I can set a meeting with them via Zoom wherein I discuss the listing process, my scope of work, the market strategies that I'll be implementing, and what the standard broker's fee is. It's during this time as well that I get to discuss the property details with them and discuss the different types of financing options that buyers usually go for. So part of the listing process is to obtain an authority to sell from the seller. This is an important document because PRC mandates us brokers to get one before we can market a listing, and it's also part of the policy of our realty, Truly Wealthy Realty, to get an ATS from the sellers before we can market any property. This document basically authorizes me as your broker to list and market your property, bring buyers to the property, and facilitate the negotiation on your behalf for a 5% broker's fee valid until the property is sold, or if you decide to take it off the market. Having an ATS will protect the seller as well from unscrupulous agents, as you can properly screen the agent before listing your property with them. So I suggest that you meet them in person or via Zoom if you're not here in the city, and just really check the track record of the agent. Check to see how many years they have been in the industry, what houses they have sold. An ATS can be either non-exclusive or exclusive. So a non-exclusive authority to sell gives the seller the right to list his property with multiple agents. But if you don't like dealing with several agents, then you can also do an exclusive listing agreement, wherein if it's exclusive, then the agent, the broker of choice, will handle everything for you. So you can, just sit back, relax, and wait for that broker to bring you a buyer. Of course, you have to check how fast the turnover will be. So check with your broker, is the pricing right? How fast will I be able to sell the property? So that's also another thing that I discuss with my sellers. During a listing agreement, I will also discuss with them the comps. I will show them the comparable listing to their property in terms of location, floor area, and lot area. So I will show them the houses that sold and at what price, because selling price is very different from sold price, because selling prices can be anything. It can be any amount that the seller wants. But with sold prices, the sold prices is the amount the buyers are willing to pay for a particular property. So I will show you the sold prices of the listings that we have that are similar to yours, so you can price your listing competitively, because an overpriced listing will sit on the market for years. So sayang naman, if you want to sell your house as soon as possible, then you need to price it competitively. So during the sellers meeting, I discuss with them, aside from the comps, property details. So for example, if it's a house and lot, then I note down the location, the floor area, lot area, number of bedrooms you're built, any other details that you want to include that will enable me to market the property better, like if it's a corner lot, if it's newly renovated, so you should also include that. I will also check the title if it's clean, discuss with the seller also the different types of financing and the pros and cons of each, so that the seller can decide which type of financing is good for them. So there are 4 kinds of financing that buyers usually go for. We have cash, bank financing, deferred cash, and rent to own. With a cash purchase, the buyer will pay the seller the full amount upon closing. So the advantage of a cash buyer is the seller gets paid immediately upon closing, and they don't need to wait for the title to be transferred before they get paid. Now with bank financing, once the buyer gets approved by the bank, and they get to proceed to closing, the seller will initially get a down payment, which is usually around 20 to 30% of the total contract price. It will really depend on the appraised value as to what the equity will be, what the down payment will be. And then the balance will be released by the bank once the transfer title has been submitted to them. Now, since title transfer takes about 4 to 5 months, now with COVID it's 5 to 6 months, there will be a waiting period before the seller gets to be paid in full. But you don't need to worry if you will get paid in full, because you definitely will, because the bank will release a letter of guarantee, which is the document guaranteeing that yes, you will be paid once the transfer title is submitted to the bank. So as a seller, you can choose to go for either cash or bank financing. Of course, sellers prefer cash since sino naman hindi gusto ng cash, diba? If you don't have to wait. But the disadvantage naman of only considering cash buyers is that this will decrease your buyer pool since only a small number of buyers can pay in cash. So you might have to end up waiting longer for the right buyer to arrive. So of course, cash would be the most preferred pay term. If there's a cash buyer, then you would definitely go for that. But if you can also consider as a seller, if you can consider bank financing, that would also be great since we can increase the buyer pool. We can offer your listing to a greater number of buyers. And then we have deferred cash. With a deferred cash payment, you take the total contract price of the property and divide it into X number of months or years. So the term will depend on the agreement between the buyer and the seller. I had a transaction last year wherein I sold a 3.5 million house in Westwoods, wherein the financing option used was deferred cash. So the buyer paid 1 million upon closing, another million after 1 month, and the balance of 1.5 would be paid after 3 months. The last type of financing is rent to own. It's more common in Manila but not really as much here in Cagayan de Oro because it's like you're giving the buyer, your buyer, a loan as the seller. So walang masyadong willing na seller to give buyers a loan. So they prefer either cash or if you're gonna get a loan from the bank. With a rent-to-own financing scheme, the buyer pays a down payment and then the balance is paid over a longer period of time with interest. So, ito na yung 4 types of financing schemes. So once I've gone over the financing schemes, I then discuss the marketing strategies that I will be implementing to market the property. So there are 2 main types of strategies that I use: offline and online marketing. For offline marketing, I contact my existing clients who I think would be interested in this listing because I've been here in this industry for 11 years. So I have a buyer pool already who are continually looking for listings. So baka your listing is the one that my buyers are looking for. So aside from that, I also share the listing to my team, Truly Wealthy Realty, as well as to other brokers and agents, so they in turn can offer it to their clients. So in the real estate industry, we work with a lot of other brokerage firms and realtors to make sure that I can get the maximum exposure for my listings. And then we have online marketing. I post photos on our website, trulywealthyrealty.com, property ad sites like Lamudi, PropIt, social media. Of course, I have all the social media accounts. Name it, I have it. I have Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I have a YouTube channel. I have TikTok. So for YouTube, I will create a video tour of your property. I will go there with my videographer, take a video, edit it, and then post it up on my channel so I can just send the link to interested buyers and agents who have interested buyers. So it's an easier way to market listings if meron ng video tour because they can already see the video before actually going to the house. And then we will take photos as well. So these photos will be uploaded in the different social media platforms that I just mentioned and on property ad sites. So please note that we use like very high-end equipment to make sure that the photos and videos taken, maganda talaga yung kalalabasan. Most of my clients are actually not in Cagayan de Oro, so having good photos and videos is a very effective way to showcase your product. I will showcase your house in the best way possible, in the best way na makikita siya ng buyer na maganda talaga. So, showcase it in the best possible light. And then, third step, bring buyers to the property. So, once I have implemented all these marketing strategies, I then get inquiries from interested buyers. So, from those inquiries, some of them will lead to property tours. So, it will be part of my responsibility as your broker of choice to take interested buyers to see the property. So, if the buyer likes it, then the next step is to make an offer. And that's another task that I have as your broker, which is to facilitate the negotiation stage. So this is one of the most delicate and challenging parts of the sales process, and it's my favorite because it's challenging. You know, every negotiation is different. The buyer is different, the property is different, the timing is different. So it's very technical and I love it. As a broker, I have to be careful during the stage to relay complete and correct information and to employ different negotiation strategies to ensure that it will lead to closing. And fourth step, once both parties have come to an agreement and due diligence has been completed, the last step is to facilitate closing. So I put my clients in contact with a bank home loan officer, an attorney, and I ensure also that all documents are in order before we meet for closing. Para you as the seller, you don't have to do anything. You just need to pipirma ka na lang and then you just need to receive payment. And that's it. Congratulations, your home is now sold. Please, if you have any other questions about the listing process or if you would like to meet me in person so I can list your property, just contact me. My information is in the description box down below. If you'd like updates, property tours, new listings, new projects in Cagayan and Davao, if you would like to be updated, then just send me an email so I can add you to my mailing list. And I will see you in my next video.